In this video, we're looking at a Christian Standard Bible in the Holman Handcrafted Collection. It comes in a beautiful box. The Handcrafted Collection is the highest of the line of Bibles from Holman Publishers, who are the publishers for the Christian Standard Bible translation, the CSB. So this is their highest end Bible that they're offering. And so far, these Bibles have been of excellent quality. I would rate them all at an A. This one we're looking at is the large print Thinline Bible. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to rate this one more as a B or a C. Again, I'm rating this as something that's in the handcrafted collection. If this were a lower end Bible, I wouldn't necessarily rate it as a B or a C, but because this is supposed to be the highest end Bible, I'm going to take some points off for some reasons that I'll explain in this video. That being said, it is a beautiful Bible overall. It comes in a really nice two-piece box. You can see the top of the box has a very nice look to it. When you open the box, the Bible comes wrapped in black paper, and you also will have this sheet talking about the Holman Handcrafted Collection. The back of the box does tell you about the Bible, and on the bottom corner you have the ISBN number and the retail price, which is $140. One thing going for this Bible, though, is that you can get it on christianbook.com right now for just over $100, a little bit more than $100. Even on Amazon, I think it's maybe around $115. So you can get this at a very affordable price. And that box is a really nice thing about the handcrafted collection. The Bible itself has a nice look to it. It is a large print thin line, so the size of the print is an 11-point size print, which is very readable. It's printed nice and boldly, as you can tell here. The paper in this is a very nice Bible paper. I think they said it's a European Bible paper. And I'm not sure what the GSM is on it, but you can see it has a good opacity to it. It doesn't have too much show through or ghosting. Being a thin line Bible is nice because you're able to handle this very easily. Let me look at the measurements here. It's about 9 7/8 inches tall by about 6 5/8 inches wide, and about an inch and maybe 3/8 inches thick. So it is a thin line Bible. The handcrafted collection comes in either the brown or black goatskin leather cover, and it does have a nice look to it. This is the brown, has a perimeter stitch on the edge there, the spine that we've come to see in the handcrafted collection with the tooled spine hubs, and the nice information on the side there. You also will see it does have gold gilt with red undergold art gilt and a gold gilt line framing the text. So that all is very nice. It is an edge line construction, so you can see the cover tabbed into the text block there. The liner, I'm not sure what it is, but it's okay. It's fine. It's nice. There's a look at the edges. And they cut it pretty nicely, actually. They did a good job evenly cutting the cover here. Sometimes that can look really messily done, but they did a good job with that. So there are a lot of good things about this Bible. Its size, the goatskin cover, some of those quality features, the box that I showed you. Now, as far as some things that were not done as well, and the reason that I'm not giving this an A is that, first of all, the cover itself has something in it that has been mentioned by at least one other reviewer that kind of makes it feel a little spongy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just, for some reason, doesn't have a great quality feel to it. Now, mine was put on pretty nicely. I think the other reviewer I'm referring to, it kind of looked really wrinkly. Mine looks like they glued it on pretty nicely, so that's okay. A little bit of wrinkling there. But there's something about it that doesn't feel as high quality in the cover compared to the other handcrafted collection Bibles. The other thing would be the ribbons. You can see there are 3 ribbons here. Now the colors are nice. They go with the color scheme fine. Gold, black, red ribbons. But they are different lengths. They're not cut very well, as you can see there. And the other thing is, when they put them in, they didn't have a lot of room. So the gold and black ribbons are actually put in together at the top. So you can see they actually are in the same spot. And when you want to use them, you kind of just have to divide them out that way. But in my opinion, it would have just been better to have 2 ribbons. I know some people really like 3 ribbons, maybe 3 narrow ribbons, 3 or 4 narrow ribbons. But if you're going to use wide ribbons on a thin line, it might be better just to have 2, because it's going to be cleaner installation at the top there. But there are 3 ribbons, so for some people, they do like having 3 ribbons. I just think it doesn't look as neat the way that they did this. And they're not very long. You can see here, they're just... I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed with the ribbons. And it's not that expensive for them to put in ribbons and install them nicely. So that's something that is a problem with this Bible. The other aspects of this Bible are what you expect. You have the presentation page. Very nicely 2-color printed title page. Copyright information. It is 2022 that this was printed. It is the text edition from 2020, so that's the most recent update. It is printed in China in 2022. There's some other ISBN numbers for similar Bibles in different bindings. Then you have the contents page, Introduction to the Christian Standard Bible, Old Testament title page, printed in red. That looks beautiful. And the text, you see the titles printed in red, chapter numbers and verse numbers are printed in red. It's a 2-column paragraph format, again in an 11-point font, with translator notes at the bottom of the page separated by a line. No cross-references in this edition. It is not a reference Bible. It's just really a reading Bible. Now, I like that because it really allows for more room for the biblical text, and I don't want all of my Bibles necessarily to have cross-references. This is really something to take with you and read, or to teach or preach from. Now, as far as the formatting, the printing in this is really nice. It's nice and bold, and the 2-color scheme is great with the black and the red. However, the font itself, I do want to show a comparison here with one of the initial Pew Bibles that they printed from 2017, just to show you how the formatting looks in comparison. And a few things here that I actually think, to me, are not as good. Now, again, this is printed really nicely. The paper is actually nicer than this. The print quality itself is nicer than the Pew Bible. However, the look of it, first of all, in my opinion, just with the fonts and designs that they used, it's kind of gone in a little bit more of a feminine-looking direction, which is just a personal taste thing. Some people might like this better, but that's just something to note. The other thing, though, actually has to do with the font itself. To me, the newer design looks a little bit more like a condensed font, where it's elongated a little bit to make it a technically larger font. So if you look at these both together, it looks to me like these are actually the same pagination, because both of these Psalms start on 472. So that's interesting. It looks like the pagination is the same, but when you compare these fonts, again, this looks a little bit more elongated, whereas this font here just looks more nicely proportioned. So I don't know if you can tell there. Again, I think this technically would be allow them to get a larger font in similar space. But along with that elongated font, it looks like the line spacing is a little bit more condensed compared to this one. This is a 9.5 font. So in my opinion, I really like this better. I'd take a little bit smaller font. They could have probably gotten about a 10-point font with this design versus an 11-point using the elongated font with less line spacing. Let's look at some pros to see how they compare. So to my eye, I just think this one looks a little bit nicer. The line spacing to me is a little bit more pronounced. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, and you can look at that and judge for yourself. Now, is this still readable? Absolutely. I'm just saying I think they made some changes that to me went in a direction I'm personally not as fond of. However, there are some people who may prefer the way that this looks and having the larger font and maybe more of that, what I call more feminine looking design. You do see in the poetry sections, though, there's not a lot of ghosting. It looks like it's line matched, which is really great. The Bible was put nicely into the cover here. The text block was put nicely into the cover, so that is well done. When we get to the New Testament, you have a New Testament title page. Looking at the book of Matthew, it is a black letter text for the words of Christ. One nice feature about the CSB are the Old Testament quotes that are in the New Testament are in a bold font, so you can easily tell when it's quoting the Old Testament. And I think you'll also see that they give the references for those quotes in the footnotes, which is fantastic. Really love that. I've talked about the CSB on my channel quite a bit. It is a translation I really like and recommend. Getting to the end of the Bible, after the book of Revelation, you have a where to turn section with some different topics you can look up in the Bible, and then the table of weights and measures. And then you have the Holman maps printed on kind of a light cardstock paper, but it's not glossy, and they are in color. So nice maps. And then you have your end sheet and liner in the back, and it does tell you that it is a goatskin leather cover. So there are some real positive things about this Bible. It's not all bad. I probably overall would give it a B, especially if you can get it for about $100. But considering it's the handcrafted collection, there are some things I wish were done even better than what we see here. The other handcrafted collections, as I said, I would give them an A. I think those were done excellently. This one doesn't quite measure up. Still, really nice Bible overall. So if you can get it at a good deal, it may be worth picking up if you're interested in this. If you have any questions or comments about this Bible, please feel free to leave that in the comment section. Thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a fresh perspective.